Welcome everyone to your Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. I'm bringing this series to you, or this daily rise and shine to you, as we discover ourselves through self-discovery, as it is self-love, and for this to be a support network for you. I'm LaTanja Millhouse, as known as Sweet Tea, and welcome to Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. And we're going to be working together in some form or fashion together as we get into a more positive frame of being to help ourselves affirm ourselves. So we will be doing our daily affirmations and understanding the power of affirmation. And so once again, welcome. And one of the reasons why I created this series, if you will, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel where we will be doing a little bit more conversation. I'm bringing it to this format until I go ahead and get the YouTube up and running. We'll go ahead and get that done, and I'll add this to the YouTube. But please do subscribe to my channel. And so what we're doing here is that we're going to be focusing on growth, self-building, and of course community engagement. So I'm hoping something will resonate for you on a daily basis with your girl Sweet Tea. This is your Zestful Living with Sweet Tea, and I call it that because, again, I have created a platform for women, mothers, wives, and CEOs over 35 who are constantly pouring into others, neglecting to pour into themselves. And I have found that a lot of men and fathers are doing this as well when it comes to empty nest syndrome. When you have your children that have gone away to college, moved out on their own, you find yourself needing to find yourself, literally, to be able to begin that journey of finding the things that bring you joy. And so I was modeling at 16, and I put that on the back burner as I had my family in my early 20s. I helped raise my family, and some of the things that I desired, because again, as a mother, you devote yourself to your family. I was diagnosed with lupus in 1999, and I vowed I have lupus. Lupus doesn't have me. And so here now at 58, I'm modeling again in a company or agency called the TLA Agency, Lynn Gale Agency, for models over 40, men and women over 40. And so I'm doing that. I'm also getting involved in some acting. I also have some other things that I'm involved in that I would love to share with you as they come about. Some acting as well. I'm in a couple of stage plays that are coming up. So things are actually moving in the direction to where I feel joy. And so that's why I created the Lady Academy workshop and the Zest for Life social club and support group to help women, as I mentioned, to rediscover their zest for life. Because oftentimes we put off the things that bring us joy, in a sense, not necessarily just joy, but put off the things that we're passionate about because we have an immediate responsibility to the adulting when it comes to having a family and children. You know, children do need us, and as mothers, that's the biggest joy you'll have. And as wives and significant others, you'll have that joy as well. Being grounded in your family, you know, being rooted in providing a way to help raise your family. And so those things aren't overlooked in terms of the importance, because they are very important while you're doing them. The concern is that if you have a sense of guilt from putting these things off, that's where we come in with the Zest for Life. We're helping you to rediscover your zest for life because you were a woman before you were a mother, wife, or any of these other titles, if you will. And of course, again, I'm noticing for men, you were a man before you became a father and a husband or whatever. So we're essentially getting back to who we are in our core. You know, as children, we used to go outside and play. That was a beautiful time for me in terms of being able to enjoy outdoors and laugh and just have a good time, because all of the needs that we had were taken care of. We didn't know anything about the adulting responsibilities that our parents had to make sure that, the lights were on, that you had food in the refrigerator. Anything that we wanted or needed was there. And so many times I find that it's kind of funny a little bit when you become a teenager, or that time where you feel as if you want to be on your own. You're not realizing what you're saying when you say, I want my own place. You don't realize that you're saying, I want to pay my own bills. And when you find out what adulting is all about, it's overrated, in a lot of cases. There's a lot of responsibilities that goes into being on your own and taking care of the things that require your immediate attention. And, of course, there's a lot of different things that we can go into about that, especially when you take on a relationship, if you will, when you're involving yourself with that special person in your life. Relationships require a lot of attention from you. And sometimes, oftentimes, when people get involved at an early age, as I did, I got involved at an early age. And of course, it's fun. We all want to be loved. We all want to be appreciated, and we all want to be respected. And, of course, when you're young and you're still discovering who you are, again, as I said, I started modeling in Los Angeles at 16. I enjoyed it. My sister found me in a space where I was in a space. And when she asked me if I wanted to come to a modeling tryout, I said, okay, sure. I was kind of depressed. And when I went there, something just opened up for me, the joy and excitement of, walking down the runway. It was outside, so I'm not sure if it was pavement or whatever. But the point is that I discovered something about me that brought me joy. And so we want to get you into rediscovering what that is for you. And so that's what we're doing in this platform. We're rediscovering our zest for life, the things that we enjoy. And that's one of the things that we do in the Zestful Life Social Club and Support Group. We have our bi-weekly Zoom calls. And for the entire month, we have our meetup scheduled, already up and running in terms of being prepared for the things that are up and coming. So we have a good time. We get into some of the things that can satisfy us in a lot of ways. We have them categorized in terms of what they will be providing for us. And so it's a fun time. If you know any women that would love to join this particular social club, they can look on the bio here and go ahead and select the Zest for Life tab, and it will show you where you can register for that, in addition to the Lady Academy workshop that you can also join the wait list there in the bio. And so we want to talk about today the importance of affirmations in building self-love and self-confidence. What we tell ourselves on a daily basis. And just let me mention this. Happy Black History Month as we continue to sojourner through our daily lives. As we know, each and every day we're Black and in full effect. So we will just continue to enjoy everything that has been provided from us or for us from our ancestors and beyond, during this special month as it's being recognized throughout the country, and, the importance of the contributions that our ancestors have made is very, very worth the recognition of taking a pause to be able to understand some of the causes that were fought for our freedoms, to be able to come on these types of social media platforms, to go into various places freely, and to be considered full grown citizens in these United States. So we want to just welcome everyone in today on the Living Zestful, or Zestful Living with Sweet Tea, as I call it. I'm Latanja Millhouse, as known as Sweet Tea. So this will be a series or just a daily talk show as I do my sip of tea, Zest for Life with me. I'm going to do this roughly. I'm going to try to keep it at beginning at 8 if I can just go ahead and, keep some consistency going. We'll see how it goes this first month, as this is the second day that I'm coming on this live thread with the Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. So we'll talk about the importance of affirmations in building self-love and confidence, as I pointed out, the things that we tell ourselves on the daily basis, because the first person usually that you see, unless you roll over and you see your mate, your wife, husband, or what have you, they're the first person you see. And then again, when we're talking about the self-love and affirming ourselves, we want to make sure that we're pouring into ourselves. And that's one of the things that we do in our social club, Zest for Life, is that we remind ourselves it's not selfish to put your needs first. Because as Reverend Dr. Ayanla Van Zant says, it's not selfish, because what goes into the cup is for you, and what goes out of the cup is for everyone else. And hence you have my cup runneth over. And so we have to learn the importance of putting ourselves first, because again, they tell you in the case of a disaster, and God rest the souls that have lost their lives and their families during these tragic times that we're seeing, that they tell you on a plane crash, you put your mask on yourself first, because you are needing to be able to breathe, gather yourself, and then you can be able to look around and see if there's anyone else that needs your help. And so that's one of the things that we do in our Zest for Life social club, is that we learn to put ourselves first, because as mothers, wives, businesswomen, and CEOs, we're constantly pouring into others and neglecting to pour into ourselves. So that's what we do as nurturers. And so the importance of affirming ourselves and building self-love and self-confidence, it's important to be able to recognize the efforts that we make. And oftentimes that first sign of something that we hear that you don't want to do, oh, I just don't feel like it, getting out of bed or getting the day started, those are some things that we have to contend with when we're not in the best of moods. And we know oftentimes a lot of our moods fluctuate, as the days and the seasons go by, things change. And so we want to give ourselves credit and a pat on the back, if you will, during this award season where everyone is receiving these various awards for their achievements and accomplishments that they do in terms of some entertainers, actors. This is the award season where they're being recognized for their contribution. We love watching movies and some of these amazing actors that are performing, and that's their craft. And so they should be acknowledged and awarded for the things that they have achieved. And we should be able to do that to ourselves as well. Good job today. You got up, you got started. If you have a routine, start making that as your priority, to write it down in terms of what you want to do for the day. If that's exercising, it doesn't have to be anything strenuous to begin with. It could be something that you yourself would be able to keep up with on a day-to-day basis. This is your plan of action, and that's okay, however you want to make it, in terms of building that self-love for yourself. Be delicate, be gentle, and know that you are worthy and deserving of all of the love that you pour into others, that you can pour that into yourself as well. And that's what you should do in terms of building that self-love for yourself, because the more you give to you, the more you'll have to be in service to others. And so that's something that we can affirm. I will make myself priority today. I am worthy of a good day. I am worthy of good things happening for me. I am worthy of love And, I am worthy of the love that I give others. I should be able to pour that into myself. I am doing well today. I am proud of myself. You have to be able to pour back into yourself on a day-to-day basis as we go through this course of life, if you will, because it is a course. And I would say that there is no rush. I like to talk about the horse and the hare, the turtle and the rabbit that had this race. And the rabbit was just so bent on the confidence that it had for itself that it would win the race, because truly, look at how slow this turtle is moving. There's no way, or shall I say, ain't no way that this ain't no way that this turtle will win this race. There's no way, because it's too slow. And the point is that you move by moving at your own pace. There's no rush. You'll find yourself in the right timing, in the divine timing, in the right place at the right time. And so when the rabbit, the hare took a break, he just said, I'll just go ahead and take a quick nap. I surely will have enough time, because I'm fast. I would be able to catch up at any point in time. Look at how slow this turtle is moving. So he took a nap, rested under a tree. It was a beautiful day. The wind was blowing, so you know how it feels when the sun is shining and you get that cool breeze that's blowing. It just makes you get into a deeper sleep. And the turtle is just moving at its slow pace, little by little. No rush, no worries, just staying focused on the goal of finishing the race, if you will. And so eventually the turtle won the race. And when the hare woke up, the rabbit woke up, it discovered that the turtle had won the race, How did this happen? He's saying, well, again, we're not concerned about what's happening in anyone else's lives. We're staying focused on our goals that we have set for ourselves, and we're moving forward each and every day. All it takes is just one step at a time, So that's what we do here. We take our time. We find that what we do is important. Everything that we do is important, and we don't put the pressures on ourselves in terms of when someone says something should be done or something should get done. We do it at our own pace. And so that builds our confidence as we see ourselves achieving the goals that we set for ourselves. Write them down, start with the 10, if you could do 5 in the beginning, what you're grateful for. And you'll find that once you see the things that you're grateful for, it builds your awareness of being appreciative of the things that you already have. And you'll be surprised, because you have never, or perhaps you haven't ever given it a thought in terms of the things that you have around you that brings you in the knowing how much you should be grateful for. So just get yourself a journal or a piece of paper, if you will, and just start writing down. Begin with 5 and then increase it as you get more comfortable with writing these things down, the things that you're grateful for. Look around you and you can see a multitude of things that you should be grateful for. If you have a roof over your head to begin with, and that will give you a sense of grounding and confidence in the things that you have achieved. Because once you start seeing the things that you're grateful for, you'll have more appreciation for it, and it will build character within you, and it will build the confidence that you need as well. And so let's do something together, if you will. Let's go ahead and create ourselves an affirmation for today. Let's see what we can come up with as I begin to write as well with you some of the things that we can affirm on the second day of February 2025, and it is 8:22 a.m. So we can affirm, I am deserving of greatness. I will be grateful for everything and everyone. I am beautiful, bold, and brave. Just for today, I will give myself grace. And that's some of the things that came up in terms of writing these, affirming these with ourselves today. What is it that you can affirm for yourself? And so I says that I am deserving of greatness. I will be grateful for everything and everyone. I am beautiful, bold, and brave. And just for today, I will give myself grace. And so I think that that is something that we can do together. And so I just want once again to welcome each and every one of you. As you join the live, I will also want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as this is the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. I'm going to come on this live thread or live podcast here each and every day as we rise and shine and bring ourselves just a little bit of sunshine in our morning routines as we awaken in our new spaces. This is a brand new day, and we want to be able to walk in it with purpose and to know that we have everything that we need within us to be our better selves and to be the greatness that's within us. That's what we were given. That's our birthright, to have everything already within us to be able to share to others. And that's what we do. A lot of us are all doing this on our social media platforms. So welcome to Zestful Living with Sweet Tea, to where we're doing a lot of great things to be more aware of our self-love. This is a supportive network, and the goal is self-discovery as we move about in our daily lives. So I will be coming on the live each and every morning as we awaken in this new season. This new season is a season for us to thrive. This new season, because oftentimes, we survive, we do what we need to do to get over the humps, to be able to, sojourner through, to be able to make ends meet, if you will. But this new season is about finding the things that bring us joy and living in our purpose to be able to bring the passions out about what we deserve in our lives. And we understand what comes first. Getting anchored in your purpose in life will create passion. So that's what we want to be able to discover when we talk about self-discovery. What are our purpose and what is our purpose? What are our purposes in life, so that we would be able to find the passions that we have. So once getting anchored in your purpose in life will create the passion. So that will come about once you get grounded in what that is for you, what that purpose looks like for you. So welcome everyone. This is Zestful Living once again with your girl Sweet Tea. And so I would hope that some of the things that we talk about, you would be engaged as well. You can comment if you like. And, let's make this a community that we're building for ourselves to be able to check in, come together in terms of what are some of the things that we're facing. As I have on my social media platform, my aim is to provide affirmations, inspiration, and motivation. You'll find on my social media platform that I provide that or offer that on Mondays. And on Tuesdays, I have a sip of tea. which of course is my take on poetry. I give some poetry, or I read from my books, or I have showcased some of my drawings, my artwork, and stay tuned for that. I'm working on some things with that as well. And so on Wednesdays, I have my What You Not Gonna Do Wednesday, where I give some commentary about various topics. And so over the years that I have been doing that, over 6 years, I have now comprised the What You Not Gonna Do for a segment that whatever has you tied into knots, you can come on the live on Wednesdays and share it with me and let me, Sweet Tea, help you unpack it, untie it, so that you can move forward in this new season, not holding on to a lot of things that no longer serve you, that doesn't bring you joy. You can let it go. And that's essentially what we're talking about when we're saying that what circumstance has you tied in knots. So that's what we do on the Wednesday. And so that's what we do, and that's what we offer. And so welcome once again, and I'm hoping that this is serving you some good dose of sunshine in your early rise. Rise and shine with your girl Sweet Tea in the Zestful Living. And so what Zestful Living is all about is the enthusiasm, is the vigor that you're finding about the things that bring you excitement in your life. And so to be zestful about it is unapologetically being free, because you're living in your purpose. And once you discover that, and you hear this a lot of times that people talk about it, but again, I have been finding myself having the joys and the enthusiasm for the things that I'm involved in. Again, I used to model, or I modeled to begin with when I was 16 in Los Angeles. Now at 58, I'm rediscovering that passion for fashion again, as they say, passion for fashion. But I rediscovered it, and it's one of the things that bring me joy, one of the things. And so I'm taking that joy and I'm sharing it with other women that I'm finding that are not having the joys in their life because they are feeling guilty about pouring into themselves and putting their needs first. And so that's why I created the social club and support group, the Zest for Life, so that I would be able to help them rediscover the joys that they are no longer having. Because again, once you have that empty nest syndrome, you find yourself all alone, and you find yourself not knowing who you are at your core, because you have given and given and given. And I have done that before as well. Before I've gotten to this space, I've always had, as a people pleaser, I have always not have said no. And so learning to set boundaries is a step for me to take when it comes to knowing how to prioritize that I'm not available, when I'm not available. And those are some of the things that we can do. So let me ask you all, what are some of the things that you are writing for your affirmations today? Would you like to share one of them in the thread on what are some affirming things that you're going to do for yourself to start your day? Because as we know, when we begin our day, what we say to ourselves, you can have that quiet time and space to meditate, do your daily prayers, or whatever is going to help you build strength to get your day started. That's your private time to be able to unwind and to be able to get yourself grounded and centered in the day before you start moving about, because we know that this is a busy time for everyone. You get up, you go to work, you prepare yourself for your daily routine that you have, and that you're off and running. You have to get into your car and you're going about in all of this busy traffic. And so there's a lot of things that takes our time away from being grounded. If you haven't done that daily meditation time, or just taking 10 minutes to meditate, breathe in and out, through your, in through your nose, in through your mouth, rather. In through your nose. Hold it, and then release it out of your mouth. Once again, in through your nose. So taking those few moments to be able to get yourself recentered, however you do that, whether that's meditation or some alone time, you need to be able to regroup before you get started. So that's going to be very important on how you get your day started. So welcome. This is day 2 of living zestful living with your girl, Sweet Tea. And so I'm hoping that this is finding you in a good space and a good place as you start your day. So let me know how things are going for you as you continue to pour into yourself each and every day first, and know that you are worthy and deserving of your time. Just as much as you give to others, give that time to yourself as well, because you are deserving of everything that you give others. And that's the importance of being able to live a zestful life. We know that what we give to ourselves is going to help to build the momentum that we need on a day-to-day basis to overcome any obstacles that we may be facing. And so that's going to be important as well. And so what we're doing today is that we're reflecting on the things that we have accomplished, as this is an amazing award season in this time of year, where people are being recognized for their contributions. Well, what about you? What have you achieved? What have you accomplished? And how important is that for your growth and your self-esteem and building your self-confidence? Because we need to have those things in our forefront to be able to know how far we've come. And journaling is one way that we can do that, is to begin to write down some of the things that we have done on a day-to-day basis. Just start off slow, in terms of how much you want to write, and begin to release the things that you have within that needs to come up for you to be able to let them go. And so journaling is about your own private, personal time to reflect on whatever may come up for you. And that brings a point for the books that I have in terms of what I have written. One of them is The Lady Academy, a guided interactive journal on becoming a lady. That helps. The reason why I created this project was based upon noticing the disconnect between men and women, and those disconnections are embedded in behavioral beliefs about what it means to be a lady. And I decided to offer that is helpful applied methods that begin to uncover a woman's view of herself, specifically linked to her childhood and upbringing. So this is going to help the ladies to be able to answer some of these prompt questions that's going to get her to, or have her to be able to uncover what she may be holding on to. And so as they do the work, they have spaces to write whatever comes up for them as they answer the prompt questions. So that's one of the things that I've done, the Lady Academy, guided interactive journal on becoming a lady. And we do a lot of in-depth work in the Lady Academy workshop that we hold space for women to be able to release those inhibitions and things that are holding them back. And we do a lot of great work in terms of issues with our fathers, or some women have with their fathers in various ways. And so we address that in the Lady Academy workshop. And then I also have for the men, A Sip of Tea, 101 spiritual reflections to reconnect, represent, and recognize the dear good man in you. And again, these are 101 different passages that are written, and then whatever may come up, they can write them in the space provided. And so you will receive a sip of tea, affirmations, inspiration, and motivation from reading each of these writings with space to reflect on your own experiences. The purpose is to help heal past traumas by releasing yourself from the confinements found from holding on to grudges, guilt, and generational curses. And so some of the things that I wrote this based upon the good men that inspired me in my life. And oftentimes I'm finding that women, when we look at men, in some cases, some women don't see them. And I say this often, as people. But again, some children don't see their parents as people. They see them as someone, that are going about life. But again, if you have connections, as I have had, and a lot of other women, we have connections with our grandfathers, our uncles, brothers, male cousins, and, neighborhood friends and childhood friends that we grow up with and meet along the way. So men are people too. And so we learn that as women, as we get involved in relationships, and we can connect the dots, and especially our fathers. We have fathers in our lives as well. And so we begin to understand who we are, in a sense, to how we relate to the men in our lives. And that's some of the things that we do in the Lady Academy workshop, is that we learn how to communicate effectively with the men in our lives. And so that means sharing space in terms of listening, because oftentimes you hear men say that women, we don't listen. And so we have to learn how to communicate effectively. It takes being able to reiterate what you heard, and to be able to ask, to know and let them know that you are attentively listening. And so that becomes very important when you get involved in relationships, to be able to listen to one another and to reiterate what you heard, to make sure that you're all on the same accord and you're all on the same page, if you will, that we know and understand one another and where each other are coming from. So we deal with a lot of issues in our workshop, and we uncover these things so that we can begin to move forward. This is a season that everyone is discovering the things that bring them joy and their passions in life. And so that's important as well. Excuse me. And so that's what we want to be able to uncover as I share with you the Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. On yesterday, I was in the middle of an audition, as I am preparing myself for an upcoming stage play, if you will, and movie. And I did the audition yesterday, and we will see the results of that pretty soon. So I'm excited to be able to share, as you will see on my social media platform, my growth in terms of this new space of being able to discover and rediscover the things that bring me joy. It was in the customer service field for over 25 years, to where I was in service, a receptionist, a lot of customer service work, and I was really good in sales when it comes to whatever it was, the product, what have you, that I was selling, and got a lot of recognition for that. And I noticed in the customer service field that a lot of people aren't happy or pleased with their jobs, and it shows in terms of some of the verbiage that they use in some of these customer service positions. You'll find yourself recognizing some of the slight differences that I have noticed. I could be behind someone in line, and the person in front of me is receiving a lot of great bubbly attention from the cashier. How was your day? And they're laughing and giggling and, giving the best of customer service to the person before me. And I'm noticing, just how interactive that they're being, and in how engaged they are in conversation. Perhaps this person knew them, that they were a neighbor, the way that they were carrying on. I mean, it was really interesting to see how much they were pouring into the person. Have a nice day, and, how's this and that. It was really engaging, and it made you wonder, did they know each other? That's how engaged they were. And, in customer service, we're supposed to greet everyone in the same format. But I guarantee you, when it was my turn next in line, I did, and this person received before me a lot of great eye contact. When it was my turn next in line, there were no cheers. There was no greeting. There was no engagement. And it got so bad at one particular point, because this wasn't the first time. I had to actually get in hold of one of the supervisors and let them know this is not acceptable. When you come in line or when you're purchasing something, you want to be treated well also, in terms of some of the customer service. That's a part of it, a greeting and engagement, some slight eye contact. We're not talking about a burning eye contact, a stare, or anything like that. But because I have an ear for it and an eye for it, and I've done it over 25 years, and sometimes it just comes naturally, to be cheery and cheerful. How's everything going for you today? Are you having a good day? That I would begin to offer to see someone not really doing well as they're checking your groceries out. You tend to give that customer service greeting to them. But yes, I reported the person, because there's no way that you were just this bubbly with someone else. And we all know that could be a race thing, if race is an actual term. But I noticed that some of our own, as this is Black History Month, we can talk about it. Some of our own people, Black people, will be cheery to someone of another nationality, but when it comes to us, it tends to not be there. And I don't know if this is supposed to be some kind of grouping that, this is something that I am required to do. No, you're actually are being paid to be able to greet everyone, the same, so there is no difference. So if you're going to make a difference based on what you feel you don't need to do for your own people, if you will, then you're mistaken. You are hired to do a job. And oftentimes people have jobs that they don't want to work. They don't want to apply themselves, So again, if you're just getting through the day, make sure, and it's a known fact that this person is just not happy where they are. And so you want to be able to find out what that is and why that is. Why are you working somewhere that doesn't bring you joy? Obviously, of course, we all have to make ends meet. But you can essentially find something that you enjoy doing if you're going to be there in misery, and then you're kind of trying to spew this misery onto other people. Get it together and do better in these positions, because it's not fair for someone to go to work and expect someone else to give you what you're supposed to give them. If I come in somewhere and I've just did my shopping and I'm in a great mood, I'm not going to help you get over your day or get over whatever you're dealing with, because again, you got yourself in a position to where you want to be hired, because you were hired to do the job that you came to do the task that you came to do. And if customer service, greeting people, is not your forte, ask them to put you in some kind of a place where you can stack shelves, where you're not in interaction with other human beings. Because again, everyone doesn't have a cheery disposition. I'm finding that some of the people that are supposed to be greeters in some of these nationally well-known conglomerate warehouses aren't greeting people. If that is your position, to be the greeter, the first person someone sees when they come in into your establishment, where's the greeting? The only thing I see is folded arms, a mean grouch, and, just staring. I think this is your call or your point of reference, sir, ma'am, to greet me. I'm not coming into the store to greet anybody. I have something that I came in here to do, and that's to shop. But I'm finding that some people aren't even greeting when they have a position. That's the only thing that they're standing there to do, is to greet you. And they're not doing it. They're frowning. So if that's your first point of reference as you enter into these spaces, then I think that needs to be, revamped. Find out if you're in this type of position, find out what it is that makes you get up in the morning, get yourself dressed, off to work you go, and you find yourself unhappy. And that's one of the things that it means, that you haven't found the things that bring you joy, because it doesn't matter, as we learned from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., as he pointed out, if you're going to be a ditch digger, a janitor, or whatever the job is, be the best, and that's a reflection of who you are, in terms of these particular jobs. It's not so much about, the work in terms of, what you take on, because there was a lot of controversy around a particular question that was asked of a young lady: would you date someone that, I believe he was a garbage man that, picks up our trash. And I think she said that if he owned it or whatever, but that does not define who a person is based on the work that they do. You look at the character of a person. This person has work ethic, and, we all have to have our garbage picked up. And these men, they work hard in terms of, picking up all of this, trash that we have accumulated. And they, have a job to do. So that doesn't define who they are. And so a lot of women are getting it mixed up, or twisted, if you will, to be able to say who someone is or who they are not. And my particular commentary about the customer service is something that you're supposed to do, because that's the job you have. I see a lot of these men, garbage men, that are picking up trash, and they do their job. We don't know who they are when they have their own time and they dress in a different way. They're being consistent. They're earning a living when it comes to providing for themselves. And if they have family, they're doing a job, because that job is going to give them a paycheck at the end of the 2-week period or what have you. And so you don't judge anyone, and you don't judge people, period, if you can help it, which we all know we do that. We judge. But again, that does not define a person based on the job that they do. You look at a person's character, how they treat themselves and how they treat others. That's what I look at. And so it wouldn't matter if you were a dog catcher, in terms of whatever job you have to make your ends meet. It wouldn't matter to me what you did for a living, a janitor, or what have you. That's something that you do to be able to get from point A to point B. And so sometimes that, in this climate, I'm learning that a lot of people are saying that they're chasing the bag. Where is it? How far you have to go? Who told you to chase anything? Not sweet tea. I'm not chasing. I'm not in a race. I'm not comparing. And I will pace myself, and go at my own speed, in terms of it being my own speed, because I know I would be able to hold that up and make sure that I'm able to make strategic moves, calculated risk, that I know that I have to show up. And as I said, that I would do this each and every day. Zestful living with sweet tea. I am a lady of my word, and I'm going to continue to do this. I grew up with parents that believed in your word is your bond. I heard that a lot from my mother and my father. Your word is your bond. What you say that you're going to do, you have to be able to go ahead and do that, because once those words start dropping and you drop the ball and you miss a point, people are depending on you. People are relying on you. You know why? Because you said that you would show up. And that's what people are looking for in terms of the character. So if a man, as a lady, if a man is showing you that he is keeping his word, that's a good man, because your word is your bond. If you say it, you got to be able to show up and do it, because your actions are going to speak louder than any words. And oftentimes we may find ourselves being able to understand, as I have pointed out in my Lady Academy workshop book, what is your love language in terms of what you identify with. And so words of affirmation, This love language expresses love with words that build up your partner. Acts of service. This love language expresses itself by doing things that you know your spouse or man would like. Receiving gifts, and of course you reverse that if you're a man listening to this. Receiving gifts. This love language isn't necessarily materialistic. It just means that a meaningful or thoughtful gift makes your man feel loved and appreciated. Quality time. This love language is all about undivided attention. No television, no smartphones, or any other distractions. Physical touch. To people with this love language, nothing is more impactful than the physical touch of their partner. And I says, be certain to identify what love language both of you and your man, or vice versa, gravitates towards. And be sure you're both giving each other what makes you feel loved and fulfilled. And that's really a good point, because we all receive love in different ways. A couple of them, and they change over time, that I like the words of affirmation and physical touch. And, I'm finding myself, liking, of course, the quality time. And pretty much we all experience all of these. But which ones speaks most, as important for you to be able to receive love? And how you know what those love languages are is that you do the work to rediscover who you are at your core. You pour into yourself daily in terms of the self-love. You make sure that you put your needs first, guilt-free. And so that's going to be important. And as we move about today, remember that you are worthy and deserving of the love that you pour into others. Be gentle with yourself today and thank each and every person that you come in contact with, because again, you're going to learn something about you, because people come into our lives as mirrors to be able to let us see who we are. Because again, you don't really necessarily know who you are until you're engaged with other people in communication, in workspaces, your tolerance level, because again, in those beginning stages, when you're first meeting someone, everything that they do, as ladies, we laugh. We're just feeling like little giggly little teenagers because he's so loving. You get this little feeling, when you hear from him, his voice. And I'm finding that I really love a good man's voice. It just does something to me to hear, the sincerity that he has. And so again, bring it back, sweetie. I'm going deep. But yeah, I think that, it's important for us to be able to know who we are before we get involved and bring other people into this, whirlwind of change. So in that beginning stage, when you first meet someone, us as ladies, everything that he does, we just look over it, oh, how cute and things like that. And then after a while, perhaps it works both ways. That very same thing that he did that we enjoyed and we loved about him and we got giggly like little teenagers is the same thing that's going to annoy you after a while. So at the core of everything in these relationships, if you love the person, that's all well and fine. But do you like them? And it's not about being tolerant of anyone, because that again is annoying. That again is upsetting in terms of tolerating someone. What it is for me is acceptance. You just love that person in your life just like you do any other family member. This is my brother, some things that, they do that you don't like, but you love them and you appreciate them and you accept them. It's about growing. It's about understanding who you are to begin with. And before you get involved, in my estimation, with anyone in your life that you say that you care about, that you love, make sure that you've done your work to uncover the shadow work, the things that you have done in your past that perhaps could bring shame, that perhaps you may be blaming yourself about, perhaps that you may feel guilty about. Confront it for yourself, because if you hear it again and someone is trying to tell you something about yourself, for me personally, It's nothing that anyone could tell me that I don't know already about myself. I've done the work. I'm okay with me. I love who I am. And I am thankful for that little fighter, that little girl that when I was younger, that went through some of the things that she went through, because she's a cute little girl. She's sweet. She's loving. She's always giving. And I just was remembering a story when we used to have the Now-a-Laters candy. I would eat some for now and I would save some for later, but I shared. I've always have shared, and I continue to do that. But I'm learning as I go on about this journey of rediscovering my zest for life that I can set boundaries. I can say for myself that I'm not available right now. And, I have something that I'm involved in. I give people a lot of my time. As a people pleaser, we tend to do that. And once again, a giver will always give, and a receiver, or I should say a taker, is going to always take. That give and take, push and pull, it's going to always be that, resistance. So we want to be able to put a halt to it. Not right now. I'm not available. This is not a good time for me. So thank you all for joining the Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. I'm going to come on the live with you. Please subscribe to if you like. I would like for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because this is going to be a community that we're building to be able to pour back into ourselves so that we can be better people for our community, our family, our co-workers, our spouses, our significant others, our family, our children. Wouldn't you want to be around someone that is so full of joy that they just light up a room? That can be you. And that is you, because you have the light within you, just like everyone else. Everything will align in your life. Everything will move in emotion, because the divine timing is always on time. So thank you once again for enjoying this time with me, and let us affirm, I am worthy of all things good. I am deserving of a good life. I am deserving of the abundance of joy, the abundance of love, the abundance of laughter. I am deserving of a good life. And just for today, I'm going to start my day on the good foot. So thank you all for joining me, Sweet Tea, as I call myself, aka my sister coined this name for me, Sweet Tea, because she says that I am so sweet. And so I appreciate you all for joining me today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. Have a blessed day.